Do you know that Diddy are about to be in the jail for the rest of his life? Yo, Diddy is straight up shook in the courtroom right now. Remember when Katt was on Club Shay Shay dropping bombs about turning down Diddy's party? I've had to turn down $50 million four times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about, right? Cause P. Diddy be wanting to party and you gotta tell him no, now. Diddy's legal squad is desperate to make sure Katt doesn't spill more secrets that could send Diddy to the pen for life. It's about to get real messy in this video. I break down the exclusive gist on how Bad Boy's former boss is begging the judge to keep Katt Williams off the witness stand. Katt Williams' prophetic warnings and Diddy's courtroom panic inside the tense Manhattan federal courtroom. Sean Diddy Combs' legal team has been working overtime to prevent one particular witness from potentially taking the stand. Comedian Katt Williams, whose explosive statements about the music mogul have suddenly taken on prophetic significance. While Williams isn't currently on the official witness list, rumors of his potential testimony have reportedly left Diddy in a state of growing panic. The reason for Diddy's apparent anxiety: Williams' January 2024 appearance on Shannon Shishay podcast, where he delivered what now seems like an uncannily accurate prediction about the music mogul's future, months before federal agents would raid Diddy's properties and ultimately arrest him on serious criminal charges. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell. In 2024, it's up for all of them. It don't matter if you did Diddy or whoever you is. TGX, any of them, the every all lies will be exposed more specifically. Williams claimed he had repeatedly turned down invitations to Diddy's notorious parties, stating explicitly that he had rejected substantial sums of money to protect his integrity. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million four times just to protect my integrity. And that virgin hole I was telling you about, right? Cause P. Diddy be wanting to party and you gotta tell him. No, these statements made months before Diddy's September 2024 arrest on charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution have taken on a startling new significance as the trial unfolds. The prosecution has reportedly expressed interest in potentially calling Williams to testify about his knowledge of Diddy's parties and the culture of silence that allegedly allowed problematic behavior to continue unchecked for decades. According to courtroom observers, Diddy appeared visibly distressed when Williams' name was mentioned during a pre-trial hearing discussing potential witnesses. Lauren LaRosa, a journalist covering the trial for The Breakfast Club, described Diddy's increasingly fragile state as the proceedings have progressed. But you said, how does Diddy look that they look stressed out? He's definitely a lot thinner, face is very pale, a lot of gray hair, some black, but a lot of gray hair. You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom. He had asked to go to the bathroom. He was like, "Excuse me, Judge, I'm a little bit nervous," but you could tell at one point in time I saw, and I was watching him very closely. I saw like his hand shaking a bit, but very involved. He's fighting for his life. Literally, he came with a case of paperwork. He was on the tablet sitting next to Brian Steele. He's reading every profile as things are happening. Like this description paints a stark contrast with the courtroom in Manhattan has transformed into a battleground of power, secrets, and reckoning, as Sean Diddy Combs faces racketeering and sex trafficking charges that threaten to upend his empire. From the moment prosecutors unsealed the indictment, headlines have fixated on the term freakoff parties, alleged drug-fueled gatherings where coercion, hidden cameras, and non-consensual acts became routine. The first major test came when Diddy's team moved to block comedian Katt Williams from testifying, citing relevance and prejudice concerns. Williams had publicly declared on a January 2024 podcast that he'd turned down $50 million four times rather than attend Diddy's infamous events, a prophecy that critics now say foreshadowed Combs' legal collapse. Witness after witness has been trotted onto the stand. Los Angeles officer Israel Flores described rushing to a luxury hotel suite in 2016 to find singer Cassie Ventura nursing a bruised eye and rejecting what he interpreted as a bribe to stay silent. Daniel Phillip, a former personal assistant, recounted orchestrated encounters in 2012 where Combs allegedly directed commercial sex workers before confiscating his driver's license as intimidation. Their testimonies, backed by CCTV footage, paint a portrait of calculated exploitation. Yet it was Ventura's 2016 surveillance video seen around the world that crystallized doubt. Footage obtained by CNN shows Combs shoving, kicking, and dragging her down a hotel hallway, a raw depiction of violence that prosecutors argued shattered any claim of consensual conduct. Prosecutors have emphasized pattern evidence. Over 60 civil lawsuits filed since late 2023 by accusers ranging from former romantic partners to industry colleagues allege similar methods of coercion, including drugging, threats, and NDAs. Under New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, victims who might otherwise be time-barred have pursued justice, revealing decades-long accusations dating back to the early 90s. The sprawling scale, some lawsuits even naming high-profile attendees as witnesses, has lent weight to the RICO conspiracy charge, which demands proof of an organized criminal enterprise rather than isolated episodes. Throughout pretrial hearings, defense motions have sought to limit extraneous testimony, arguing that only direct victims' accounts should be admitted. They've challenged expert witnesses on coercive control and moved to strike references to uncharged allegations. In one victory, Judge Arindrajit Arun Subramanian ordered prosecutors to destroy notes seized from Combs' jail cell that contained privileged attorney-client material, deeming the search unconstitutional. Combs' team, led by high-profile attorneys Mark Agnino and Tenny Gagos, has framed the relationships as consensual, swinger-style liaisons between consenting adults, insisting that reputations and public pressure motivated false claims. Yet, embattled defense counsel confront mounting hurdles. Federal investigators allege that Combs used jailhouse calls and social media posts to intimidate witnesses, risking additional charges for tampering. 4 bail hearings ended in denial, leaving Combs confined at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center as his hair grays and his legal battles intensify. The prosecution's witness list, anchored by Ventura, an unnamed Victim 2, and 2 other pseudonymous accusers, grew complicated when Victim 3 could not be located, prompting speculation about witness withdrawals and potential weakness in proving certain elements of the enterprise theory. Amid this drama, the cultural stakes loom large. Diddy's brand partnerships evaporated, honorary degrees were rescinded, and streaming platforms quietly demoted his catalog. Industry insiders debate whether a conviction would force a permanent erasure of his musical legacy or prompt a begrudging separation of art from artist. Conspiracy theories swirl online. Some allege distant connections to other celebrities, from Jay-Z to Beyoncé, though credible outlets caution that such rumors lack evidence. As opening statements approach, search trends spike for Diddy trial live updates, Manhattan federal freakoffs, and Cassie Ventura footage. SEO-savvy commentators highlight key phrases like RICO sex trafficking and pattern of coercion, ensuring every new filing and testimony becomes fodder for public debate. The prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Combs orchestrated systematic exploitation under the guise of entertainment. The defense must convince jurors that these were consensual interactions and that memory bias and opportunism drove the wave of accusations. In the weeks ahead, jurors will weigh medical records, private communications, and first-hand accounts against the defense's portrayal of a consensual lifestyle. High-stakes motions will precede dramatic witness cross-examinations, and every nuance, flinches in the dock, a stray tear from an accuser, a stutter in a recorded call, may tip the balance. Should Combs be found guilty on the racketeering conspiracy count alone, he could face life behind bars. Additional sex trafficking convictions carry decades more. For Diddy's family, friends, and fans, the trial has become a crucible. Will the mogul's decades-long empire of music, fashion, and spirits survive the assault on his character? Or will the courts deliver a verdict that not only ends his freedom but reshapes the industry's accountability standards? One thing is certain, this trial will echo across volumes of legal precedents, celebrity culture analyses, and conversations about consent, power, and redemption for years to come. Through social media posts, strategic interviews, or carefully staged events, Diddy must now contend with a narrative largely shaped by court proceedings and witness testimony. The financial impact has been equally significant. Beyond the loss of brand partnerships and business opportunities, Diddy faces enormous legal expenses for his defense team and potential settlements or judgments in the numerous civil cases against him. The combined effect could substantially diminish the fortune he amassed over his decades-long career, regardless of the criminal trial's outcome. There's also a broader question about the cultural reassessment of Diddy's career and influence. Many of his famous parties and public behavior that were once celebrated in the media are now being re-examined through a more critical lens. Comments and interactions that previously seemed harmless or were played for laughs on TV shows and interviews are now being scrutinized for potential signs of problematic behavior. Any locks on the doors? Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now. Justin right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose. I had legal guardianship of Usher when, he did his first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him these clips, which once might have been viewed as playful or innocuous, now take on potentially darker implications in light of the current allegations. This wholesale reevaluation of Diddy's public persona demonstrates how dramatically perceptions can shift when serious accusations come to light. The question of who knew what and when when will likely continue to loom large. Both within the trial itself and in public discourse were there industry figures who were aware of Diddy's alleged behavior but remained silent. Were there systems in place that enabled potential misconduct? These uncomfortable questions may lead to further soul-searching within the entertainment world. Peace out, and we'll catch you in the next video. Click on the boxes on your screen.